Hello everyone, Hachadino over here, and today we are going to be updating the build itself. Sadly, there won't be gameplay because I'm in the transition to full low life with pain attunement. If you don't know what pain attunement is, it's this one over here. You will have 30% more critical damage when you are on low life, and you will have less critical damage bonus. This is a multiplier on your critical damage bonus if you are low life. And we are going to be using the Coward's Legacy belt. I have been using this for a bit while getting Aziri's Communion. That's where I'm low life. But then this was the first part, changing to the Blasphemy. And then the second part will be getting an Absent Amulet. I'm going to do a mini guide kind of on this video how to look for them and also how to kind of change them so we can use them on the build itself. This one was one that I got for around 100 to 150 divines. I think it was worth way more, maybe because it had level 17 custom critical, but that doesn't matter that much for me at least. Now, for other things, as you might see, we don't have an essence of the bridge, so it doesn't have 40% quality maximum. We will work on that. But first of all, how are we getting pain attunement without working all our way to here? So we are going to be using the Aldur's Legacy socket. Very expensive. This is the most expensive part of the builds after changing everything. Aziri's Communion, super expensive. Aldur's Legacy, super expensive. The Absent Amulet, expensive. And then eventually the jewels that we will get. We will use a Prism of Belief on our gloves. And then we will get also Sarok's Gift from the Raven Touched on our helmet with the Aldur's Legacy. And other things. Now, one thing that is very important also is this Aziri's Splendor. As you know, we are using the Ghost Shrouds, so we do want to have some evasion, and we also are using Spectral Ward. I'm going to be also explaining things inside of POE, because remember, this is everything theoretical right now. So this will help us get resistances and also to cap our chaos resistance. Like if you see over here, of course I lost the spirit that I have here, that's why I also have a spirit on my neck. But with this and also changing some cores, I need to change the core, that this one and this one, I need to change those two to resistances. Maybe we'll get one of those back instead of one of the chaos, because I am going to be changing my rings. These are very basic rings that I got the first week of the league, and we are going to be getting some cool rings. I will still be using one on set, but maybe I try to get the Terra's Path, the one where you can socket a sapphire, or maybe the one where you can socket an emerald. Of course, that's also going to be later. So first of all, how does Aldur's Legacy work? You get an item that you want to get the legacy. There's like a list of legacies that you can look, and you socket it, and it destroys it, and you get here Legacy of Crown of Thorns. This is very expensive, but you can recover it. Remember, there is an item that destroys, for example, your helmet. My helmet is not super expensive. For when you want to get a really expensive helmet, you can use it on that one, destroying it. That's why this helmet that I got is like, well, I say it's nothing crazy, but it's very likely that some people are already selling this helmet for a very high price. Now we are going to, of course, slam the Greater Iron Room because I need this for resistances. And now, look at my... I'm going to show... Okay, here it is. For example, Flicker Strike. I have 829% multiplier. And I have 1078. And we are going to be getting even more. Now, after doing this, we need to fix our absent amulet. I'm also going to talk a little bit about Dire Strike and Execute, but this right now, I looked that it needed to have +3 melee, fractured, and spirit. And then the other things are kind of whatever, because we can save them if it's desecrated on the suffix and it has a random prefix. We just can whittle it. But I looked that it had the desecrated prefix. This way, what we do is we use an Omen of Light. This way, our next annulment will remove only desecrated modifiers, which you can see here. And then, with this, we can kill that mod. Now, we need to put an Essence of the Breach, and this is a prefix, but it would kill a random modifier. Now, of course, what we want it to kill is the dexterity. So, we are going to be coming over here. And we're going to get an Omen of Dextra Crystallizations. This makes it so our essence can only remove suffix modifiers. This makes it so it doesn't touch the spirit, but it will touch the state. You can also divide the spirit so it's 50 instead of like 47 in this step, or the other one. Then we will use Essence of the Breach. And now our item has plus 20% to maximum quality. Now we come over here. Oh, you actually only need 34%, but I used one more for some reason. Now, you don't really need to get to 40 unless you want to try and get to 50. That will make it so you have a +5. And then try and sacrifice for +6. But this is not the goal for us right now. You also, if you want to get that 50% quality, you want to get the 50% quality the first thing that you do, before even you chaos spam for the +3 to all melees. Now, after it is like this, we will be coming over here. And ideally, you get an Ancient Collarbone. As you can see here, they are quite expensive. So I'm not going to do that right now. I can farm them myself because I have some Kulemax invitations. And then with that, we will get our last suffix. But for now, we can also equip the item itself, and this will mess up some things. Now, what will be messed up? One thing that happens is that we can't use Infernal Cry anymore, and we also can't use Blasphemy anymore, because our stats are not well aligned. Now, of course, we will be fixing stats from one way or another, moving things, getting this jewel and then putting it over here. So now I'm going to explain two last things before going into POE. Execute 3. This support is one of the strongest one because it's already 30% more when you are on low life. And then when the enemy is on low life, like it's on 35% or less, it gets even 30% more damage. It's effectively 40 something percent more damage. Very, very strong. And then you have Dire Strike that What this does is you have 30% increased attack damage while on low life, but it's very costly, costs 40 spirit. But the good thing is that now we could put it over here and we take this custom critical off, and we have now another custom critical, as you can see over here. We could move all our jewels over there and then move the Aziris Communion to Ghost Dance. Why Ghost Dance? Is because it has quality that has 20% increased reservation efficiency, so it gets you to 83% instead of more. Now of course I'm going to be doing all of those things later, but now let's go into POE. Now here I, of course, as you might expect, changed quite a little bit of things, and I also have some examples that I can show you about jewels that you can get. I will also show you some searches that you can use. Now, as you might expect, sorry, I am using still the same helmet, but without the pain attunement, because the pain attunement, I put it over here. It's a little bit finicky. Now, I'm always on low life, of course. And if you want to kind of look at this, you can look. But most of the things that are new, I'm also going to be putting in notes. Now, this tree is a little bit different than the one that I have. As you can see here, we had this Sapphire, and then we get 2 Whispers of Doom. And then I take this off and also this off, because this is like 3 points for 10% evasion. Of course, we will be getting quite a bit less regen for our Ghost Shrouds, but it is what it is. Now, this tree still has our From Nothing. You know that you can do some weird things with From Nothing, but I don't really care. And now, what have I changed? Because we can get some jewels that also will have critical strike chance and critical strike bonus, we won't need inexorable strike anymore. You can see here it's actually useless for me. Now, one thing, of course, we will be using momentum instead of exploit weakness, but exploit weakness is kind of something that you put because it's also the same 40% more damage. So our links would be Flicker Strike, Perpetual Charge, Fulmination, Blindside, Execute, Momentum, Close Combat. Of course, Close Combat here is also not real. I was just using it just instead of Inexorable Critical Strike, but you can take this one off and you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. After everything here, we will of course be one day upgrading our quarterstaff, but not right now. You can also upgrade the gloves, but same thing, not right now. So this would be the neck that we would want. Of course, you can try and get different prefixes, but I think the best suffix is still the critical strike damage bonus. We will be using Ancient Collarbones and Omen of Light for those, so it will be kind of easy. Now, another thing that I didn't say anything, but remember that you can whittle the Breach mod. It's eye level 0, so it's going to be super easy to whittle, so you will just whittle and then Perfect Chaos. Maybe you get something cool or not. If you don't really care that much about prefixes, you can use Greater Chaos instead of Perfect, and you will get something like a Maximum Energy Shield or something eventually. My rings, we'll forget about those. The Coward's Legacy, remember, we want the one that it has 87%. 83, it's actually what we want to have. This is without Diala. If you actually have Diala, you can see here, if you have Diala Desire, you can get 2% less, see, 85%. But I actually think we want to use Diala's Desire on something else. For For example, you can use it on Archon of Chayula. It has a very good quality and also very good scaling on levels. Sorry. You can see here our Archon gets more physical as chaos damage. Of course, only 5% quality is only going to be like 1% or something like that. But the extra damage that you will get from Chayula's will is very, very big. You can also, of course, put it on something like... Actually, no. On Chayula's is the best one because Tempest Bell and other things, we are already getting a lot of plus levels. So it's not as strong. Now, ignore Rent because remember there's a bug right now that it still can't do anything. So this is the full change, and you can see I have 1700 because remember when we have the 7 power charges, you also get some extra on those, and this is without getting on the bracers. You can put, you can see a socket, and in that socket we can put jewel socket, and we can slam on the same sapphire that we get, or we can put the prism of belief because remember sinister jewel sockets that we will have from voices or from Xerox gift can't be put in like be put unique ones, so we will have the prism of belief on this one. Oh no, this was also, you also can have prism of belief on this one. Interesting. Well, we will just put a sapphire, and you can see, plop. I will get even more DPS. Now, of course, this means that our prism of belief needs to be somewhere else, so we can put it over here without any issues. The time loss are very, very effective over here and over here. So that will be what we do. Of course, I will try and make another video after I do all of the changes and things. I will also have to get Draven touched with the Xerox gift on my helmet. So I hope it hasn't been super boring. Of course, remember no gameplay, but still, remember if the enemy is on low life, we get even more damage. I will of course put more notes and things, so you can actually, if you only want to check that one out, you can do it. And I will see you on the next video.